In this video, we will discuss some commonly used SAS procedures. So this is a list of basic SAS procedures we will discuss in this video. So first, proc print is used to show values of a dataset. We've already used this procedure before. Proc contents is used to show information of a dataset. Proc means is used to compute some summary statistics. Proc freq is used to construct frequency tables for some categorical variables. Proc sort is used to sort observations in descending order or in ascending order. So first, the proc step can analyze data, produce output, or manage SAS files. So the input is usually a SAS dataset, and the output can be a report or maybe updated SAS dataset. For example, the proc step can do the following. So it may create a report that lists the data, or maybe analyze data, or create a summary report, or maybe produce plots or charts. The general syntax for a procedure is like that. So we will say start with proc, whatever. So this is just the name of the procedure. So then you will specify, so data equals, so basically specify so which data set you are working on. After that, so you may include more options. And so each procedure so may include several SAS statements. And so end the procedure with a run statement. So this data option just specifies the name of the dataset you are working with. This option can be omitted. So if it is omitted, SAS assumes that you are working with the most recent dataset. So however, it is strongly recommended that you always include data option, especially when you are working with several datasets simultaneously. So now let's look at the procedures one by one. So the first one, proc print, is used to show the contents of a dataset. So this is a general way to use this procedure. So I just say proc print. So you just specify name of the dataset. So then we say we then include run statement. So by this way, SAS will show the contents of all variables and all observations in the dataset. So if you do not want to show all variables and also want to show selected variables, and so you can use the var statement just to list the variable you want to show. Okay. Notice, so the existing SAS output of proc print will not change automatically after you modify a dataset. So this just means, so if you modify some dataset, if you want to check the contents, so you need to run proc print again. We will show that using examples, right? So let's try to load example. So this is the blood pressure example so we used before, and so it contains blood pressure for some patient, right? So the variable should have the let's check the data. So see, this is the data, right? So then we have patient, we have gender, systolic and diastolic blood pressure. So in total, we have 22 observations and 4 variables. So first, I use the file name. I just create a token for this web link. So notice, because this is web link, so here we need URL. We need this keywords to tell SAS it is a web link. So then I use proc import to load the data. Out equal blood. So blood is the name of the dataset I want to create. Data file. So this just specifies the location of the external file. So this my file 1. So is defined here, right? Okay. So then I use a proc print. So I just want to show the, so maybe let's load the data first. So after we load the data, so SAS automatically have a output data tab. So this just shows the contents of the data. You can make sure the data are loaded correctly. In the result tab, so there's no contents. Yeah, because for proc import, so it will not show, I mean, it does not produce any results automatically. Yeah, but in the log window, so it indicate, well, so seems everything is fine. You can see 22 records were read from the external file, right? And so then the resulting data, so blood, so has 22 observations and 4 variables. Okay, yeah, and see the data set was successfully created. So then we run the proc print. So this one, you can see there's no other statement, right? So just proc print and run. Yeah, so this one, so SAS will show all variables and all observations in this dataset. So this one, I have a var statement. So I include a patient systolic. So in this way, so SAS will only show all observations for 2 variables, so patient and systolic blood pressure. Okay, yeah, so let's continue. So the next procedure we want to discuss is a proc contents. So it just shows the summary information of a SAS dataset. So this is the general way to use this one. Yeah, so by default, so we do not need to insert any extra statement. So just proc contents and run. Yeah, so let's run this one to see what will happen. So it will produce an output like this one. You can see, so this just, I mean, instead of show the contents of the dataset, it just show some summary information. So like, see, the name of the dataset is displayed. The number of the observation is displayed. So we have 22 observations. We have 4 variables. Yeah, so if, there are some many other information related to the dataset, but usually so we don't need to worry about those. Okay. And so the last part, so this just show a summary, I mean a list of variables. Yeah, so here we have 4 variables, so SAS will show them in alphabetic order. SAS will also show type, yeah, because there are 2 main type for variables, right? So can be numerical, so we have 2 numerical variable here, can be character variable, we have 2 character variable here. So the length, so this is the length of the variable. For numerical variable, so usually so this will be 8. Yeah, but for characters, so the length can be can vary. Yeah, so for gender, so the length of the character is just 1, because we have only F or M to indicate gender, right? And for patient, so names, because we have only 2 characters, right? So then SAS just set the length to be 2. Format and informat, I think we will mention those later. Okay, right, yeah. So from the proc contents, so usually so those are the list of information that we may interested, right? So name of the dataset, so number of observations and variables, and also the list of variables. Proc means, so we also use this before. It is used to compute summary statistics for numerical variables. So this is the general way to use this procedure. Yeah, so we can say proc means specify name of the dataset, and then use the var statement to list the variables you want to compute. So by default, so SAS will display number of observations and will also compute the mean, standard deviation, and the minimum and the maximum. So let's try this one. See, proc means. So notice, yeah, so we only apply this procedure to numerical variable, right? Because for categorical variable, you cannot compute mean and variance, right? Yeah. So only 2 numerical variable here, systolic and diastolic. Yeah, so I run this one. So SAS just show you, see, the n, mean, standard deviation, minimum and maximum for each of the variable. Okay. So next one, freq. So this is used for construct a frequency table for categorical variables. The syntax is very similar to proc means. Yeah, and the difference is instead of var statement, so we have table statement. Yeah, so table, so one variable, second variable. Okay, yeah, so by default, so SAS will output the frequency table and so show list the frequency percentage, cumulative frequency and a cumulative percentage of each of the variable. Yeah, so like this one, so I just want to get the frequency table for gender. Yeah, so if you run this one, you can see, so the frequency, so in this data set, we have 12 female and 10 male. And so the percentage of female will be 54.55%. And the percentage for male is 45.45%. SAS also shows the cumulative frequency and a cumulative percentage. Yeah, so this is very useful. So if you want to get a summary of categorical variable, right? Okay. Yeah, so the next one is a proc sort. So this procedure is convenient if you want to sort the variable, sort the observations according to a variable, so in either ascending or descending order. Yeah, so ascending means sort the observations from small to large. Descending means sort from the observations from large to small. So this is generally so how we use this procedure, right? So just use the by statement just to list the variable you want to sort. Okay, and so by default, so SAS will sort values from small to large. Yeah, so for example, look at this one. You may notice, so after the sort statement, after the sort step, right? So immediately, so I write a proc print statement. Proc print step. Yeah, so the reason is, so after you sort the data, SAS will not show sorted data automatically. If you want to check the contents, so you must use a proc print to show the contents. So this just means, well, so in the by statement, I have two variables, systolic and diastolic, right? So it means, so SAS will first sort observations according to systolic. And so if the value are equal, then SAS will sort observations further using the value of diastolic. Yeah, so let's run this and so check the result. You can see, so the data are sorted, right? So for systolic blood pressure, so the value are sorted from small to large, right? If you look at this part, see, for these two observations, they have the same systolic blood pressure. And so then, so SAS further sort them according to diastolic blood pressure from small to large, right? And so also, I think so also here, right? So first sort, they have equal systolic blood pressure, then SAS sort observations further using diastolic blood pressure. Okay. By default, so SAS will sort observations from small to large. So if you want SAS to sort observations from large to small, yeah, so you can use a descending keyword, right? So basically, you just put this keyword immediately before the variable you want, right? So for example, like this one. So this descending only applies to the variable that immediately follows this keyword. So what I mean is descending only applies to variable 1, but not variable 2. So as a result, so SAS will sort the data in descending order for variable 1 and then ascending order for variable 2. Okay, so let's check here. This probably will be much more clear, right? Yeah, so this just means, see, I first sort systolic in ascending order and then diastolic in descending order, right? So I run this one. You can see like this part, right? So systolic, also you check systolic blood pressure, so it's in ascending order from small to large, right? So if you check the observation with equal systolic blood pressure, now you can see diastolic is in descending order, right? Yeah, so you can also check here. See, systolic, I mean for equal systolic blood pressure, diastolic blood pressure are in descending order. So let's try to modify the code slightly. So if I say descending diastolic and I mean descending systolic and then ascending diastolic, right? So we run the code in this way. You can see systolic, so from large to small. And so for observations with equal value of systolic blood pressure, so the diastolic, so is from small to large, so is in ascending order. So if you want both variable in descending order, so then you need add another descending here, right? So then both variable will be sorted in descending order. Yeah, so I run this one. You can see, so systolic blood pressure from large to small. Yeah, so for observations with equal value of systolic blood pressure, so SAS further sort them in descending order of diastolic blood pressure. Okay. Yeah, so this is how to use Proc sort. Proc sort is convenient, so particularly so if you want to find observations with largest value or maybe the smallest value, right? Okay, let's show an example. So this data, so body measures, right? So the data are extracted from a National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey. So this data contains some demographic information and variable regarding body measurements. Yeah, so those are a list of variables. The dataset is available on the course website. So this is the link. Yeah, so notice this data is very large. Okay, I think so over 9,000 observations. Yeah, so it's very large. It is very careful to handle a large data set. So first we load the data, right? So the same steps. So first I use a file name just to create a token for this web link. Okay, so I use a proc import to load the data. Yeah, so the name of the data set is called body, right? So the DBMS, so the format is CSV. So let me load the data, run. Okay, so SAS may run for a while. It is slow just because, so I just provide the data as a web link, right? So if you upload the data to the cloud, I mean to the cloud storage, yeah, so it will be much faster. Okay, so definitely just smaller than 1 second. Okay. So notice if you want for a very large data set, so you may not want to use proc print. Yeah, so see, we can check. See, if you want to use proc print because the data set is too large, because there's some limitation on the for the online version of SAS Studio. Yeah, because if you want to produce output for that huge, basically it runs out of memory. Yeah, I think, see, it just keep running and eventually, so it will show you a error message, right? See, the size of the result is too large. Yeah, so insufficient memory, so could cause problem. So do you want to display it anyway, or don't it display? Yeah, so probably, so I will skip that. So if you want to insist, SAS can still do it. Okay. Yeah, but from the log window, so see, you will be able to see. So in total, so there are over 9,759 observations, right? Okay. So then in this way, I mean, for large data set, so usually, so we will use proc contents to check the summary, right? See, so then we will know so the total number of observations and the total number of variables, and so we also have a list of variables, right? So from here we will see, so some of them are numerical, some are characters. Okay, so let's look at how to answer the question, how many variables and how many observations. Yeah, so this question can be answered from the output of proc print, right? Proc contents, right? So as we just see from the output, so this is the number of observations, so 9,759. Yeah, and so we have 17 observations. Oh, sorry. So the next one, so find the mean and standard deviation of height and weight. To compute summary statistics, so we use a proc means, right? So then I will say proc means. Okay, so then use a var statement just to list the variable we want to compute. Yeah, so here we want to compute a weight and height, right? So you run this one, so SAS from the output, so you will be able to read the mean of height will be 156, okay, and so the mean for weight will be 63, okay. Yeah, so we can also read the standard deviation for these two variables. Not this one. What is the percentage of female? So female, so this is about gender, right? So we have a variable called gender. Yeah, we have a variable called gender, okay? So then you just proc gender. Also here I list two variables. Yeah, because the next question is, so what is the percentage of married subjects? So then we have a marital status, right? So marital, yeah, so this is another categorical variable. So I just put these two variables together in one table statement. So notice the name of the variable are separated by space. So in this case, SAS will create a two frequency table. So one for gender and one for marital status. Yeah, so we run it. Okay, so then you can read the output. What's the question? Percentage of female and percentage of married. So for female F, right, so we can see we have 50.18% of the subjects are female. For married, right, so this is 51.75%. So notice for the data, there's a chance, so there may be some missing number, right? You can see, yeah, so the frequency of missing, so SAS will also show you there. Oh. In fact, I may have something to say about this one. Okay, you can see for the height and weight, see for the N, you may notice, so they are different, right? Yeah, because those numbers are smaller than the total number of observations. Yeah, so this is because so there are some missing value for height and weight for some observations. Basically, when SAS compute those summary statistics, SAS will ignore a missing value automatically, right? So those are just those numbers, this N, just the number of observations used to compute those summary statistics for that particular variable. Okay. Well, so this is a in-class exercise. In fact, I think I have already, well, so you may pause this video for a while and so try those by yourself. And after that, we will work together. Okay, I assume you've already tried those exercises by yourself. In fact, in lectures, I've already do that again. I mean, do that already. Yeah, but let's just try to do it again. Okay. create a data set from blood pressure. From this data set, oh, I think I just I delete that one, blood pressure. Okay. Well, so cause you can find the web link of this one, right? And so by the way, so see for blood pressure, right? So I think so this is the link. I mean, so this is the file, right? So if you right click, I think you can copy link, right? So then you will get the link, I mean the web link for this file. So then we use a file statement to load, I mean to define a token for for this web link. So then we use proc import to load the data, right? Then ask you to use proc print to check the contents and compare them with the raw data. Yeah, so then we say proc print, okay, right? So then you SAS will have this one. It should be faster, yeah, but I don't know so why it is slow. Yeah, maybe the internet connection. Yeah, so this is the contents of the data, so you can compare this with the data, right? So this is the raw data, so make sure the data are loaded correctly. So usually, so we compare with the first line, maybe the last line, right? So make sure, see the last line, the first line. So usually, so if the first and the last lines are correct, so the data should be loaded correctly. Use proc print, use proc contents. Yeah, so to check the contents of the dataset and identify number of observations and variables and the list of variables. Yeah, so then I just see blood pressure. Yeah, so then I just use proc contents, right? So I run this one. You can see, so then this is name of the dataset, number of observations, number of variables, and so in the bottom, so here, so you will see the list of variables. Find male patient with largest systolic blood pressure. Okay, yeah, so because I want to find the largest blood pressure, right? I think if we sort the data first, right? And so we want male patient, the largest systolic blood pressure, right? So let me write. I will remove the remaining. Sort data blood by gender. I think so. It is called sex, right? Not called gender. It is gender. By gender, and so then by systolic blood pressure. And so then I want to print data blood and run, right? Oh, because we want the largest systolic blood pressure, so then I will do this in descending order. So to make sure, so the largest one will be sorted. Will be placed in the first row. This is female first. Yeah, so then maybe for the gender, so I also do descending. Okay. On this one, you can see, so the first row so will be male with the largest systolic blood pressure, right? Yeah, so then I find the male patient with largest systolic blood pressure. Find the female patient with the smallest diastolic blood pressure. Yeah. So if you want female to be placed first, right? So then you should sort just in ascending order of gender, and so then in ascending order of diastolic blood pressure, right? So then I use a print data equal blood, show the result again. So this will be like that one. So the output, yeah, so looks everything is fine. See, the first line, right, so will be the gender, I mean will be female with the smallest diastolic blood pressure, right? So what is the percentage of male patient? So if you want to find that, so you need find percentage, right? So you should get a frequency table. Yeah, so you use data equal blood. Okay, so then table. So I want to do the frequency table for gender. Yeah, and so for male patient, male patient. So the percentage is 45.45%. What is the mean and the standard deviation of systolic blood pressure? So then we want to compute some summary statistics, right? So then we use Proc means. Okay, blood pressure, and we want systolic, right? Systolic blood pressure. Yeah. So if you run this one, for systolic blood pressure, the mean and standard deviation is displayed in this way, right? Okay. Yeah. So this is the end of this video.